Good morning, everyone. It is Tuesday, August 29th, 2017, and a lot has changed since you've last seen what's been going on in this channel, so I'll give you an update right now, and it's going to be a long one because a lot has changed and there is a lot to talk about. So, as we can see here, the main setup has changed a bit. I've got, as usual, the 27-inch iMac, but then over here, there is the 21-inch iMac. I got a bunch of these from a location that I'm not going to discuss, and I gave most of them away, but I've got this one still, as well as the one on the other side, which I'll talk about briefly. And this one, I don't think it's actually plugged in at the moment, but this one is a 2011 iMac, and it's running, at the moment, Sierra. Now, the 27-inch iMac running 10.6.8 Snow Leopard is actually working just fine. I've been doing a lot of work recently, at work, and there's a lot of developing scripts for the newest Mac OS, which is Sierra 10.12, and there just simply isn't a way to reliably test it on Snow Leopard. It isn't possible. So, even though Snow Leopard still does everything for me, I simply can't test for a newer operating system on an older operating system. It doesn't work like that. So I've got this here, and I use this mainly for just testing stuff for work, and that's about it. I haven't done too much with it, but it sits here and looks nice. Supporting it, by the way, is an old Mac Mini G4, which brings it almost exactly up to the right height, which I thought was pretty entertaining. Over here, and I haven't actually put my computer back together, so it's complaining, but this, and again, I'm not going to get too much into this, but this is actually a monitor now, so you can see I've got the power switch wired up. This is a full-fledged PC display. Excuse me. Inside there's a controller board. I'll turn this off. Controller board here that controls video input. I've got, and it's still a work in progress, but eventually I will have hooked up the webcam, the SD card reader, and the optical drive. I've got these two working at the moment, but not the webcam. Speakers, those are working, and there's a little USB hub in here that everything connects to. And then, around the back, if we take a look, I've wired up these ports. By the way, there's no Mac guts in here anymore. This is all, except for the screen, all gutted right now. So I blanked off this input jack, but the headphone jack, you can actually plug in an aux cable and then hook up this here as a set of speakers, powered speakers, by the way. These USB ports are now USB 3 ports, which you can kind of tell there. And then they, as well as the optical drive SD card reader, they go up with some wires to a hub right here. That hub then breaks back out and then connects to the computer with just one USB cable. So everything connects through, I guess, two cables to have everything work. There's the video and then there's the USB, which is very neat. Now, as I said, this isn't finished yet, so this is not how I want it to be. I don't want power bricks strapped to the back, but it was more of just a proof of concept to see if I could go any further with it. And yeah, it works really well, and I'm really pleased with it. So this is now a screen, I think I may have unplugged. No, it still works. Okay. Also underneath here in the RAM door, you can't really see it because they're recessed, but I've put the controller board for the screen, just in case I ever have to access those controls. I can just stick my finger in the bottom of my ear and use the controls, which is very, very neat. What else have we got going on here? The big boy in the room. The 2.7 gigahertz PowerMac G5. This thing is just about immaculate. It's as good as you can get a PowerMac G5 these days. It works perfectly. It's maxed out with 8 gigs of RAM and a very powerful video card. I haven't put an SSD in it because I want to keep it somewhat error correct, but it's got a fast hard drive in there, and it is a screaming machine. I love that thing. It is so great. And it's the only G3, G4, G5 series computer that I've ever used that actually feels modern. It doesn't slow down on the internet very much, just a little bit. YouTube videos it struggles with, but there are workarounds for it that you can still play 1080p YouTube videos at a full 30 FPS without an issue. Man, I love this thing, and it's very loud. That is one of the problems, and it generates a shit ton of heat, but God, it is awesome. I recently had a birthday, not that I expected any of you to know that, but I asked for a couple of things, a couple little nerdy things. So I asked for a soldering iron that wasn't from Harbor Freight, so it wasn't absolutely fucking terrible. I got one of those. I got a bunch of other soldering stuff, and I've been messing around with that. Let's quickly go down before I get too far in the room to the PC. I salvaged a bunch of them from the recycling bin, and this one I've modified slightly. So the motherboard in here is it's a Gigabyte X79 UD5. No, this one's the UD4. This one is different than the other ones. This is quite the frickin' beast of a machine, I'll tell you something. My God, it is a beast. So it's got 8 RAM slots, which I populated, and I currently have 32 gigs of DDR3 in it. It's got an i7-3820, which is the non-K version, but it still is pretty awesome. The board supports 4-way SLI with 4 physical video cards, but I have decided to go with 2 dual GPU cards. So I have 2 GTX 590s in here right now, which is scary and also awesome, and I'll tell you why it's scary. The amount of power that this thing draws, if you were to do like a synthetic benchmark, for example, is disgusting. It's also awesome, but oh my God, it's so much power. I think with both of these GPUs, as well as the CPU being stressed and the RAM, everything being maxed out, it pulls just under 1,000 watts from the wall, which is crazy. Now, I'm never really going to be doing that. I'm never going to be stressing out every single component, so this 1200 watt power supply is actually what I need. It's sufficient, but it's not leaving a whole ton of room for anything else. But it is more than good enough, and it is one of the larger power supplies that you can actually buy. There are some that are 1500, 1600, but they are quite expensive. So all these parts in here were free except for the power supply. I purchased my own because where am I going to find a 1200 watt power supply from? But yeah, this thing is now my main gaming PC. The other gaming PC that has the 1070 in it is the dedicated virtual reality computer. So that stays out in the living room. This is a huge first world problem for me that I didn't feel like trucking back my computer from in here to out in the living room. So I literally spent money to to fix up this other one and get it working. Yeah, I love this thing. This is awesome. Anyway, what's next? A lot of other crap I have to sort through on the desk, mostly parts that I got from other places. 3D printer is still somewhat functional. I've been experimenting with the Raspberry Pis recently, and there's in case any of you are into 3D printing, there is an operating system, and I put that in air quotes, called Octoprint. It's just a fork of Raspbian OS, and it runs on the Raspberry Pi, and it acts as a host for the printer. Now, I originally had the Mac Mini over here, which was great. It did everything I needed it to do, but this does a whole hell of a lot more. There's tons of plugins. It natively has video support, so you can put the webcam up here and watch your print. It's great. It's really convenient and required absolutely no setup. So in case any of you do 3D printing and have, $30 to spend on a Raspberry Pi, Octoprint, go ahead and do it because you will love yourself. It is great. It is awesome. What do we have going on here? A couple other things. I'm selling a bunch of stuff on eBay at the moment. This PC was put out for recycling. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet, but it's an older system. I think it's an HP. It's an 8300, some sort of desktop tower. What's it say on there? It's an HP Compaq Elite 8300 CMT, which I think stands for Compact Mini Tower or something like that. I don't know. This thing has a CPU, it has RAM, I don't know what it has. It's got a very low-end card with DisplayPort on it there. I really don't know what to use it for, but it's good enough that I didn't want to just throw it out, so it came home with me and I'm still trying to figure out something to do with it. Let's go out to the server rack, because I don't think I've done an update on that in a while. So if we go over here, all the way to the back, I'll turn this fan off so you can hear me. So, server rack here. It's still a work in progress, as is literally everything in this house right now. But I've got a couple things hooked up. Not hooked up at the minute because it's going to be installed later is this Mac Mini. It's a Core 2 Duo 1.83. It's going to act as a server of some sort, but I'm not sure what. I have two Mac Minis here, one of which is off for some reason. This bottom one is my downloading machine, so if I have software that I need to download through uTorrent or something else like that, I drop it in a shared folder, and then this automatically picks it up and downloads it for me and then puts it on my server. That way, if it's a really long download or I want to throttle the download, I don't have to keep my computer on all night. I can just leave this Mac Mini running. It's, I think it's a 2 gigahertz. No, it's the 1.6. I don't know. It's one of the lower end Core 2 Duo Mac Minis. That's what it is. I've got two servers right now, and I apologize that you can't see shit over here. Both of these are running ESXi, and they're my virtualization servers. They're not on right now because I haven't had time to play with them, but they are. They have the same board and CPU as my gaming machine. They're i7-3820s. They've each got 32 gigs of DDR3 in the form of 8 sticks, and I've added a 4-port NIC right here, as well as an InfiniBand card, as well as a very low-end video card for just looking at the ESXi main screen. Underneath there, I know you can't see it, but is the NAS and the other NAS, which is nothing new to you guys. And close that up. I think that is really about it. Not that much else is going on. A quick personal update for those of you who have stuck around long enough that you probably would care about a short personal life update. I have started school up again. College is my 4th year of going to college, and I am very tired of it, but yeah, I gotta do it. So I am back to classes actually starting yesterday. I have Tuesdays and Thursdays mostly off except for an hour-long class during the middle of the day. So if I do make videos, which I am in no way promising, but there's a good chance I will, those videos will come out on Tuesdays and Thursdays because I'll be alone here in the mornings and have lots of time until I have to leave, which will be very nice. So I guess that's about it. With all that said, I thank you very much for watching, and if you saw anything in the background here you want me to go over, I will do my best, at least in the comment section. That's about it. So thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.